how to become a registered nurse this year, right? What is it going to take? What does it look like for you? And I hope that, you know what, I really hope that you'll find this information helpful, and hopefully it'll give you some clarity as far as like what you need to do, what you're not doing, um, and just what are the practical steps. Because I get this question a lot. And so hopefully this is going to help kind of guide you. All right, so how can you become a registered nurse? Well, here's the thing. It's going to depend on who you are, right? It's going to depend on who you are and where you're coming from. So if you are a nurse if you are currently in the US, let me first share with you, and then if you're an international nurse, I'll share with you what you need to know. So if you're a nurse that's located inside of the US, to become a nurse, a registered nurse, you can do one of two routes. If you want to go straight to RN, so meaning that you don't want to do LPN or CNA, you just want to become an RN right away. There's different pros and cons. I do have a book, which I'll share really briefly, called How to Become a Registered Nurse, which is available on Amazon, where I talk about the different pros and cons and the steps to becoming an RN. Everything from pre-nursing all the way to getting your license and beyond is in this book. So if you're in the US, and then also ADN versus BSN. If you're in the US then already, and you've always been in the US, then you simply need to either find an ADN or community college program or a BSN program. ADN is a lot more cheaper, but it's harder to get in. So a lot of people, that's the reason why a lot of people decide to become LPNs first and then become an RN later. So maybe, so you can do that route where you try to look for ADN program, or you can go straight to BSN. And to become and what some people do, they'll get the ADN and then they'll do an ADN to BSN program later. So, or you can go straight to BSN, and BSN, so you need to find a university to apply to. And what I'll tell you with BSN programs, make sure that they are accredited. Check their NCLEX passing rates. Don't just pick a school just because they tell you that, oh, we'll get you in right now and you'll just you graduate in 2 months or something. Don't do that, because you're honestly going to pay for it a lot more in the long run. So go through an accredited program. It's usually going to be 4 or 5 years to finish. It will vary. I know there's some accelerator programs, but I don't recommend that. I recommend that you do the whole process, do the whole thing, because it plays a huge role in you in you passing your test and performing great as a nurse later. So you're going to essentially, if you pick a BSN program, you go through the BSN program, you finish it, no matter how hard it is, you pass and you get your license. Okay, after you take your boards. If you are not in the US, right? So let's say you live in a different country, Africa, I get a lot of people from Africa, Philippines, Jamaica, etc. Then the process for you is going to be different, and it really depends on the country. Like, so for example, like Nigeria. So the thing is that if you are and I'll try to focus on one region, because some countries you can take the NCLEX from your home country. But for a lot of African countries, a lot of countries in Africa, a lot of countries in Africa, you need to first come to the US before you can take the NCLEX. And usually that process for a lot of people, getting their visa, having the money to come here and etc., that usually takes them at least a year or longer. So the NCLEX is something that's down the line for you. So I get people that tell me, oh, I want to write the NCLEX, but they're still in Nigeria. But you still have a process to go. So if that sounds like you, then your first step is going to be to come here, figure out how to come to the US first, and then and make sure that you get all your paperwork that shows that you went to school in Nigeria. And then from there, then once you're here, then you can start trying to pass the NCLEX, right? So it really depends on where you're at. If you're US based, if you're in a different country, and then it depends if you're already LPN or CNA, the process for you is going to be kind of different. Okay, so if you want to learn more about becoming a registered nurse, like I said, I do recommend the book because I go over way more information in the book. I even talk about the different exams that you have to pass, like TEAS, NCLEX, TOEFL, IELTS, all the different tests. I give you some study tips and what you need to know about each of those exams. So if you can get this book on Amazon, How to Become a Registered Nurse. This is what it looks like for more information. All right, so that was it. Thank you for watching the video. If you like, subscribe, hit the thumbs button, and I will see you the next time in our next video.